Welcome to my YouTube channel, everybody. Today we're gonna go into some detail on the plans for the drag car for the off season in a little bit more detail than I can on TikTok, which is where I've been posting primarily. You gotta cut me some slack on this first video. I'm holding the phone sideways compared to what I'm used to now. And I'm used to trying to keep these videos under a minute so that they actually get watched on TikTok, but on YouTube, I'd like to go into more detail. That's one of the things that I'm kind of frustrated with doing just TikToks. Is I'd like to talk a lot more about what I'm up to with this car, and I simply don't have time in a TikTok. So first plan of action is we have to take this engine out. It hasn't been gone through in probably 20 years. I don't even know what's in the thing. It was put together initially before I was even born. Once that's out, we can remove everything from the inner fenders. On this side, it's just the brake stuff. On the passenger side, there's a little bit more. There's a coolant reservoir, which will move up to mounted next to the rad. This wiring and all that will go into the cabin. And that's pretty much it for this side. I've been planning on doing this for a while, so I've been slowly removing everything I can from the inner fenders. Now, a Mustang 2 is a unibody car, so we are gonna have to add some bars in. We'll do like a 12-point conversion, so it'll come down from the cage and land, I don't know if you can call this a frame rail, but they're kind of like frame rails. It'll come down and connect here somewhere. The main reason we're doing that is to make space for headers. It's not really gonna save a whole lot of weight. It will look cool, which is, always important. But you can see here right now, there's just no chance at building a decent set of headers. You can't even get bigger tubes down this way. So they're gonna have to be fender exit regardless. If I really decide I can't remove these inner fenders, I guess I could go down and forward and make enough space here, but I've got fuel line here. It just doesn't seem like a good idea. And this side's even worse. With this, I think this was the original battery tray. I've only got maybe, 2 or 3 inches between the port and this hard, wall that I've got to deal with. So there's no chance at making headers that flow well on this side of the car at all. So while the motor's out, we're gonna tear it down, probably put a new set of rings, maybe valve springs if we check them and they're no good, because it has been sitting for a long time, or was sitting a long time before I got to it. It doesn't seem to be fogging out the breather or anything like that. I just don't entirely trust these rings to still have tension after being in the motor for so long. This is also a really antique set of cylinder heads. So these are Windsor Seniors, made by Professional Products or something like that. That's basically Dart before it was Dart. So these are really old. Like, to give you an idea, these came out before the GT40 Ford heads did. So that would be like late 80s, early 90s, these heads were designed. So they leave a lot to be desired, but there's a lot of meat to port these things apparently, so we should be able to make them flow half decent. Next thing we got to deal with is a torque converter. This thing only has a 3000 stall torque converter in it, which in a street application, sure, that's fine, but this is really race only at this point. And I'd like something closer to 4500 so that it flashes to, 5000, maybe 5500 on a 250 or 300 shot. On that note, this trans cooler and its small lines, and it's also got a filter actually in there as well. That's a huge restriction on the ATF system in the car, and is probably hurting my situation for stall, which is probably why, even though it's advertised at 3000 stall, I'm barely getting 2700 out of it on motor. I actually picked up a 4500 stall converter, which is in here right now, in the spring. I got a really good deal on it. I think I only paid $100 or something like that. But this car has a C4 in it, and they're kind of weird. There are 2 different bell housing sizes and flex plate sizes. This has the small bell housing and flex plate on it right now, and that converter requires the big one. So we're gonna have to do some messing around there to make it work. I'll probably have to buy a bell housing and flex plate to make it work, but if I'm only in the converter, $100, even if I have to spend a few hundred on a flex plate and bell housing, I'm still way ahead of having a custom converter built for a couple of grand. I'm debating, while I'm cutting the inner fenders out, I think there's a fair bit of weight to be saved on the front end of this car, like with all this bracketry and stuff. I think I could make a rad support a lot lighter than this and still be just as strong. but we'll see. I'm not really sure exactly what I want to do yet. It's hard to tell with the motor still in there. I can't really see what's there, what's solid, what should be cut out anyway, that kind of stuff. Now I have gone into a fair bit of detail about what this combination is on TikTok over the course of a few videos, but I'd like to put one fairly comprehensive one together to get everybody up to speed on what this car actually is and the backstory behind it and all that. That'll probably be next week's video. I know that's a little bit out of order, but this is what was top of mind this week, so this is what's getting posted this week. Now you're pretty much up to speed on what the plans are for the car over the winter. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Like and follow for more, and check out my TikTok as well.